Right, I think the stream went down. It did. Streamlabs crashed. Streamlabs crashed. It told me the stream was running in the background and relaunched and the stream was not running. So I'm not sure what happened there. Hopefully we're back. Okay, so we set the cursor there. So now, what happens? Oh look, we've got a cursor. Custom cursor. Let's try and set it to a different one. So need to know which icon we want to set. Mouse cursor blue, so that's icon number 4. So what I want to know is what happens if we can't return a cursor to Windows. We need to go just default to, there's the blue one. We need to default to the, so assuming if this doesn't return, what do we do? So we'll look at the docs on that. If this cursor is null, if the parameter is null, the cursor is removed from screen. So how do we get set back to the class cursor? Set cursor to class cursor. Or just reset cursor. Nope. So how do we get the class cursor? Get class cursor. It's like get along. It's like a get along pointer thing. H cursor. Yes, it's get long pointer. So else so we need to do auto result is equal to false. Result is equal to that. And I'm going to say if result is equal to false, we want to do set long pointer. What is it called? Get the long pointer. So we want to do get class long pointer. hwind index ulong auto class cursor. I think this is just handle to cursor. H cursor. So what does set cursor return? Handle to the previous cursor. Okay, well I don't want to do that. We just do set cursor. So get class long pointer. What does that return? If it's 0. If the function fails, the return value is 0. So if class cursor, set cursor, class cursor, the result is true, return result. Okay, so now I don't have my... No, I actually don't have my original cursor. Okay, I need to set the result to true. This is literally just return true, really. Return true. Return true, return true. Return false. We can do this here. So, that's great. What happens if we don't, in the game UI now, wherever we are, following set cursor, game HUD. It's in the game HUD though. So we don't do this. I feel Manchu. Have to love GitHub go-getters. Create and pull requests. Didn't test. Oh, lovely. Looks like you're having a good day. Alright, cool. So there is no cursor there now. The problem with that is we don't get the proper Alright, so problem with doing that is we're setting it all the time to that. That's not what we want to do. So I'm just going to go G H cursor class cursor like that. And say if class cursor is not equal to saved class cursor. The problem with this is it's gonna be for one for each window. So how do you do this? I don't want to keep saying it over and over again if we can't set it ourselves. That might just be good enough. Yeah, so now I get the Windows is free to change the cursor. That's kind of what I want. I was losing that before. It was just setting it to the icon cursor all the time. If I opened an issue for Tracy, a profiler. Some guy promptly offered to work on it. I admire his eagerness, but I grabbed his changes and the thing doesn't build. Ah, right, okay. I didn't test it. Wow, this is crazy, isn't it? It should be banned. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Wow. So let's have a look at WM set cursor, because does it tell me what reason we're setting a cursor for? The hit test result. The Windows message which triggered this event. Such as WM mouse move. So I presume we might get another message if, so that, where it goes this, where it changes to like that diagonal arrows, might be a message about that. Because I would still like those to appear. Even when we're setting our cursor. So if we set our cursor see, it doesn't change to the diagonal arrows. So I think what we'd need to do is we need to check whatever parameter it was, the L param. So the L param turns to a message. What's the message type? Is it just like MSG? It's just a uint. It's just a uint. So uint. So what is it? Is it the L param? What is an L param? A long pointer. So static fast uint L param uint message. And we want to say if it's a mouse move. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, that's not worked. So the message. Look at this in hex. 0201. Oh, it's the high bits. Okay. So high word. U16, I think. Yeah, it's crazy, innit? Don't like the arrogance of some developers. There are a lot of them about, unfortunately. So it is a mouse move. So still doesn't work. Is it only sent on a mouse move? We need to print this message out. So how do you do standard print hex? Standard format hex. Alright, so it's just that. So log line. Whoops. Whoops. Can't type. Message. See what type of messages we're getting. Nuke Bird. How's it going? Even offered a right pull request and just ignored me. Yeah. Mental. Looking down on people, yeah. 200, 200. Like, they're all just 200. $201. What was 201? What's 201? Button down. Okay. So how do we detect? Yeah, the elitist mindset. Yeah. Hope you're having a good day, Nuke Bird. How do I detect? Cursor resize window. Nope. Nope. Niche test. So this niche test was one of the things on WM set cursor. And niche it test, whatever that means. Doing a cry. On my job, they've tried to force me to do. Oh, really? Right. Sounds rough, man. I'm just in the depths of Windows programming right now, so I'm just reading documentation and trying to get things to work. Oh, here we go. This is it. So we want the niche test. So it's the low one. Getting smart, that's what real programmers should do. Yeah, it's a craft, I think. It's like something you practice over and over again to get better at it. So we're on 1. Just looking down here. And then we're on 11. And then we're on 1. Okay. Incline area. HT right. The right border of a resizable window. Right. So if it's 1, basically, if message is equal to 1 HT client, whoops, we do it. There's one touch on WinAPI for controlling Windows. Hopefully they just, they don't value enough to keep you, then you shouldn't even, you should tell them to go away very sternly. Hopefully they, they won't want you to go, so you won't lose your job. There we go, look at that. That's exactly what I want. So now we can still get those icons for resizing the window. Right. So game HUD. eat next? Ship it. So I've made a bunch of... So each cursor, it's not just cursors, it's any game icon. I want any icon in the game to be able to be a cursor. So when I'm like moving stuff, when I do this, rather than moving a box around, which is notoriously drifty, the cursor just becomes the box, or whatever icon it is. And then I also want multiple MIPs, so you can have different UI scaling and sizes and stuff like that as well. No, I work on an American company. It's full of Russians, I believe. We're all underpaid, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. The world's mental. Alright, I'm just going to go for get a cup of coffee while these ads are going. Then we'll chat. See you in 2 minutes. Nuke Bird, it's alright, don't worry about it. Okay. So, check that in. So now we need to associate like the icons with an enum, really. That would be nice. That would be very nice. So we've got like mouse cursor grey. Let's turn this hex off. Mouse cursor grey. And it's got a width and a height. So that's how we can tell what MIP it is. how do I want to do this? I'm fine with it being hard-coded really as well. So the actual, like the API would probably be a HUD, and that in it would have like set cursor. So it'd be something like bool set cursor something, and we should have something like enum class e icon type or e icon kind or something, I don't know. And then we'll have unknown like cursor 0, cursor 1, cursor. There's four altogether. And what I want to do is you could just go like set cursor e icon kind icon like this, and then possibly like pass e icon mip, and we can go all the way up to like 256. MIP 256, MIP 128, MIP 64, MIP 32, MIP 16, MIP 8, MIP 4, MIP 2, MIP 1, like that. Or just level. Something like that, I don't know. I don't really know. Just winging it. Yeah, icon mip level. So this has to go through the icons and find the icon based on the enum and the MIP level. Currently there's nothing associating the actual enum with the icon. So what do we have? This is still running. So grey, blue, pink and cyan we've got. So we could do struct e icon desk or something. Well, it's kind of similar to how we do the asset types. So it would be like let's put this here for reference. Oh, I don't want to do any hot loading. No thank you, no thank you, not yet. So it would be like using icon types enum type pair. So we could say e icon kind cursor goes to the compile time string of the let's just load it up again. So we've got mouse cursor gray, mouse cursor. So mouse cursor gray. Blue. Pink. Cyan. What's the problem? Is this not allowed? Type class. So you can't put a CT string directly in. Right. So we'll have to fudge that. Template CT struct icon name. Using value equal to Nuke Bird, how's it going? This is a bit verbose now. Is that allowed? Can't be static though. No, it can be static. Maybe. That compiles. That is pretty mental. Though. That is pretty mental. So what do we get? You just make one of those. How jobs have I had before? Does fear of losing the job really go away with time? I've always been self-employed pretty much. Since I was 22. I'm 40 now. So yeah, I don't have to worry about a boss. Obviously you've got to worry about having staff. This is just a different type of worry, really. Freelance. No, I don't. So I don't have anything to do. I can't see any of that. I don't have anything to do with software, really. Software's a hobby of mine. I did try to make it my job. I'm not that type of person who can do their hobby as a job. So I decided to just do something else. I'm actually a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. It's a common misconception that you need to be a millionaire. But you do need passive income. I hide the truth. I wouldn't drink cheap coffee. This proves I'm not a millionaire. I have a GTX 1080. There you go, that's proof. You can see it, look, it's right here. GTX 1080. I'd have a 5090 if I was a millionaire. So icon types, it's made summit. There's absolutely no IntelliSense at all though. If I do auto standard get 0 icon types, what's that? Excuse me, I'm getting a cold, I think. Oh dear. Fu Manchu's giving me his cold over the internet. You don't get to be a millionaire by splashing on expensive coffee. That's a good point. I'm not a millionaire. Thank you, Nuke Bird, thank you. Remember when oh really? This GPU that I have has been awesome for me. I really enjoyed it, having it. So exit. This might be so bizarre that it doesn't know what to do. Is it type? Like, I don't even know what to do with this. So we have to get the icon name, which is zeros type. So it doesn't actually make one. So we've got to make one. Type is not a member of the global namespace. Yeah, it's good. I just paired it with a faster CPU, like a very fast CPU basically, for code compilation, and then I've been totally fine. Let's just do it a different way. For each type, icon types. So the pair is the wrapped type of X, and the icon name is the pair type constructed is that gonna build? That builds. You optimize your projects for it so modern hardware run even better. Yeah, I have a quite a rubbish laptop as well for that. That's AMD as well, an ATI. So it's different hardware. So I can test a game on that, and if it runs well on that, then it's good. Ryzen is beating Intel. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Only had Intels. My last PC was an Intel. This one's an AMD. Forward Centaur, thanks for the raid. Hope you're doing alright. Hope you had a good stream. Okay, so that isn't you using, that is an auto. Yeah, I'm doing alright. I've just been programming in the deep weeds of Win32 all morning. But I think we're off that now. Been doing cursors and icons and stuff. So name, so what is name? It's an icon name. Name is an icon name. So if I do type dot something value, oh yeah, flashbacks. Yeah. But it's all in now. I can like make a load of cursors basically, different resolutions, and then I can just set them. So there we go. The name is Mouse Cursor Grey. So that is static. So what happens if I just do this? Where's the Win64 API? I don't know. Interesting. It should call it just Win32. Maybe that's just what I call it. It's learn.microsoft. Oh no, Win32 there. Probably legacy because it, you know, this API has remained the same for donkey's years and before Win64 was a thing. So does this come out as the name still? I have a feeling I need to construct it for this to work. I do not. That's very interesting. I need to check that in release as well. So this is a compile time string of characters as a template parameter that you don't even need to construct the object. Name dot. That's completely wrong. Name dot value for formatting. Lots of names, types, and values. My first real GPU is GeForce 256. Awesome. First real GPU. In 1999, I was what was I doing? I did have a computer. Just listening to a lot of Limp Bizkit, really, probably. Okay, so it printed them all. It printed them all in debug. Let me just check about release. Some computer wizard will have to tell me how that works. All right. Let's go to the fantasy playlist. So basically what I could do now is get the icon name from the enum type. Yeah, it seems fine. It seems totally fine. This runs at 1,000 frames a second. Alright, cool. I'm running release for a while. Yeah, the camera, I've thought I've seen that. I might turn the actual... It's difficult because if you want to do multiprocessor compilation, you can limit it to like how many cores per project, but not how many cores per solution, I think. Like I want to use like 30 of the 32 cores and leave 2 free just so it can do the video. But now maybe I will set. I've got a spare computer now, so maybe I will set up like some kind of secondary streaming. You know what I mean? Secondary streaming PC. That was a big build. I just built the release build from pretty much cold, so laggy video is a feature. You feel how hard it compiles. I like that, yeah. So we'll put this somewhere. So we got, let's just do Optref. Well, we'll go Optref, W string view, get icon name, E icon kind. And that this is just fetch from. So the result is going to fetch from the icon types. And then just return. So we'll just say if pair enum value is the icon, return pair type value, two values, else return that. And that just returns the result like that. All right. And we need to actually say what the return type is for this type of thing. So it's optref string view. So this is W string view. Can I be bound to an R? Oh, right, okay. It's fine in this case. Because it's coming from constant data. It's never going to go out of scope. You know, it could just return a string view. And it would be empty. I'll do that. That's better than doing the R value reference thing. And now we can just return that. Can we even get away with not putting dot value on the end? So this is the CT. This is the str. I don't really understand how this works, to be fair. It must be pointing to like a string in the string table of the executable or something, because I'm not constructing anything. Here. So this constructor's like getting called at compile time. Probably. Like, this doesn't construct anything. It still works. This is just purely like working on types, really. Okay, so I need a little bit of short. This is a little bit rough, to say the least. So I'm just going to go define name or something. I don't know. Unless it's not, name might already be defined. I'm going to call this icon namestra. I'm going to call this icon name is this. And this can just be this now. Just undef that there. There's no equals. Forgetting my defines there. Oh, and also there's this on the end. I'm not going to put a macro around enum type pair because that is good for my reference, just to know that I'll have to work with this, but that's fine. So now on launch, we can go if auto cursor name equals get icon name, get HUD, what is it, get game HUD, get icon name, e icon kind cursor 0. Well, that's just a name. We need to actually get the cursor. So we could get the actual icon as well. We could have get icon. So the launch stuff. Yeah, so we need, I want to know where. I want to know where HUD icon is. So HUD icon, I think, needs to be up here. In here. Unfortunately, platform cursor handle is used in this file and is transitively included, it said, so it should just work. So what we need is we want opt_ref hood icon, get icon, e icon kind icon. So now in launch, this is icon. Yeah, icon. Cursor 0. And we set it. Maybe we did do a get icon already. Where was the one that we did with set cursor? So get icon. So this is going to know the MIP level that we need, because that MIP level is going to be probably contextually, well, maybe contextually set. So it'd be like in a settings file, or, well, I don't know. We'll get there. We'll ignore it for now. So that is not temporary anymore. I mean, we will move this out of here into its own function eventually, probably, because it's getting quite big. Set cursor. This is icon cursor. So I'm gonna go the name of the icon is get icon name icon. If there's no name, we'll return this. If there is a name, we need to go through the icons how do we get the game HUD state? GHUD it is. So for auto icon GHUD icons. Maybe we can find it. No, we can't find it on the name because so the HUD icon as well needs a MIP level, I think. Actually. Now we've defined these icon MIPs. So we could do that when we load it in. So it would be if icon.name is not equal to the name, continue. I'm not suggesting we do get this by name eventually, but we'll get somewhere to speed it up. So this would be the test of the MIP level. So let's put the icon MIP in there. And the hash can actually come from the name with the MIP. So now we can say if icon.mip is not equal to, well, I don't know, we're going to say eIconMip level 32. But that's we're going to have to get this from somewhere else. And then we'll just return the icon. So we might do this. We'll keep the return value optimization thing going, even though it's only a reference. So I'm thinking also, so we don't have to compare on strings, we could put the actual, in the icon, could actually have the icon kind in it as well. Like that, and we could just hash the kind with the MIP. So this doesn't need to happen here. It will need to happen when we construct the icons, though. Now, so we're just doing that once at the start of the game, as opposed to every single time we want to find an icon. So this is even better. This is just return GHUD icons, find first, and the test is the arg dot kind is equal to the icon, and the arg dot mip is eIcon mip level 32. And that just reads as just a one-liner now. A hard time figuring out the brackets. Okay, cool. So now we need to set these up, the args and the mips. So that's in launch, that. So, how do we want to get the MIP? So we want something like static, no, what would it be? Standard pair e icon kind e icon mip, icon mip, get icon properties, I don't know, or the name, icon name. And icon size. So, standard pane, oh my god, standard pair. Standard pane. That's what this is. So, how are we going to do this? So, the levels is the enum count of E icon mip. There's the 0 as well. There's the unknown. -1. That's how many there are. So, what we need to do wait till these ads finish. So the actual max value is 1 shifted up by the levels, or shifted left by the levels, or just the size or whatever. And then what we want to do is we want to go for L in levels. Let's just get this to compile so we can test it as we write it. The test size is the size shifted back down by L. Hi, like XP, how's it going? What is that for loop syntax? Yeah, this is a macro. It's I have a few. It's a range base for, but to get the index instead of the thing. Yeah. This is mental as well. For index ref. So this is the index. This is the reference to the thing. And then that's the thing you're working on. Sometimes you need that. That's quite useful. So this would be like 0. This would be the first, well, the 0th level of levels. And it would just go up like that. This is why I do either C or C sharp. I don't know C++. Yeah, you could do this one. You could do this one in C. There's nothing stopping you. This is literally expand. Look at that, it expands too. It's literally just. Well, it does rely on something. It relies on me implicitly getting the count out of the structure. So it's a little bit, you'd have to, I don't know if you could do that in C++. In C++, you'd have to probably do something like dot size or something. Oh, there isn't no in C even. I don't know, you'd have to do like array count levels in C. That's how you'd do it. I'm a bit of a C novice, really. I don't do much C. I'm sure you can use concept systems to support that. Yeah. What am I working on? So icons and cursors. So I'm on the game for real. I'm off the engine now. I'm building a system in the game. So these are like these are cursors that I've made. And you can just like have as many as you want, and they can be whatever size you want, as long as the power's of 2. And then there's a system which loads them all, creates all the whole MIP chain, because I want to be able to, like, for accessibility and stuff, be able to have the player choose what size of cursor they want and stuff like that. Creates icons with the OS so they can be used as mouse cursors and stuff, because the idea is that when I drag an item around, I want the actual icon for the item to become the mouse cursor. So I'm just putting all that stuff in. See if this builds. Platform cursor handle. So I think actually include app in here, actually, unfortunately. Device scaling. Yeah, exactly. Figuring all that stuff out. But you need to use, well, I think anyway, you need to have a hardware, it needs to be a hardware cursor, because software cursors just don't feel very good. So I don't know if this will work, because we're in the middle of writing. No, it doesn't work. So we're in the middle of writing the word thing to select the cursor. So like these just obviously stand-ins, but there will be icons. So if you look, so basically like, well, that's not too bad, but it's because it's running at 200 frames a second. I've V-synced it. So you can see the drift. So the hardware cursor is like the Windows cursor, and the software cursor is the white box. And you will want to eliminate that drift, really. So I just turn the icon into the cursor. And I could, if I wanted to, render all the icons as I'm preparing the level data, like splat the cursor on top, so the user doesn't even see, because this always snaps to the middle, the player, so it would look like the cursor is still being rendered on top of the icon, but the whole thing is just the cursor. So I might do something like that. Depends on the game, yeah. A game where I'm dragging and dropping boxes around, which this will be. Like when it runs at like 200 frames a second, it's totally fine. It's just if it ever ran at like 30, you'd really feel the lag. But you know, like, there will be an option in the options, the game options, to swap to the operating system cursor. So I might, you know, if people prefer a software cursor, do that as well. Because all you've got to do, rather than swap the cursor to be the image of the icon, just hide the cursor. If I just hide the cursor, then the cursor would be that white box. But yeah, we'll experiment. But yeah, hope you're doing all right anyway. Okay, so we'll just test this. So on the launch. Been better. Workday's gonna be a nightmare. Oh, really? Is it early in the morning there for you? Is it early afternoon here? This workday's gone alright so far. I wasn't looking forward to like jumping into Windows, trying to get the cursor stuff sorted, but that was actually okay. It's 9 AM. Alright, yeah, cool. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock here in the afternoon. So this is basically the bit of code I'm concentrating on now. So what we want is auto properties props get icon properties for the icon name, which is icon dot name, and the icon size, which is the MIP bounds width and height. Okay, so that's the wrong type of vector. It's that one. Use SDL3 and let SDL figure it out. So in SDL, can you do that? Could you? So what I want you see is to draw the icons once at like 256 by 256 resolution per icon, so the big. And then SDL will create all the MIPs and stuff. SDL set cursor. Oh, right, you mean the setting of the cursor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the setting of the cursor, it did actually go okay. The only thing that I struggled with was if you set the cursor, when you get to the edge of the window, the cursor needs to change to this size. The arrows. And the way Windows recommends setting the cursor is just when you get the WM set cursor event to just set cursor with your cursor. But the problem with that is you have the same cursor for everything. So I changed it so if the cursor is just moving in the window, then it's the game cursor. But if you get close to the edge of the window, it swaps back to the operating system cursor, so you can still get these arrows. You're going to get WM events. Yeah. You're not going to get WM. Yeah, it'd be the equivalent SDL1. It probably just translates the event into an SDL event. Probably. Yeah, I mean SDL set cursor. So on Windows, it's actually simpler. It's just set cursor like that. So it's the same, but it's just a shorter name. But it's getting this H cursor, constructing one of these. I'm not sure how you would do that with SDL. Do you just pass in like a bitmap or something? Set the cursor to a bitmap. I thought OS owned the cursor on the window frame. No, apparently not. That's what I thought, but it's not. You're completely free to customize. So I could, if I wanted to, create cursors for the size arrows. And then have it swapped to my size arrows cursor. But that might be a little bit overkill. So there's 9 levels. So 5, 12. Okay, so that's not right. This is like amazing, royalty free. Look, making those enums U8 to make 8 bits instead of 6. But you're making those enums U8. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, because it's just a MIP chain. I could put like 512, but I don't think I'd need more than 255 different values. So 256. So the test size, I need to put a little value in here. Yeah, should be plenty, yeah. Not entirely sure what the default enum size value is. It might just be an int. I'm not sure. So 256, 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2. So it didn't do the 1. So that's 4. I'll have to not use my shorthand 4 now. So I need to go right up to it. Yeah, nice one. Good luck. Have a good meeting. Hope it goes okay. Hope you work the entire day in Windows XP. Be nice. $128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. Alright, cool. So L plus 2, L plus 1 is the enum value. So MIP is static cast E icon MIP L plus 1. That's it. Okay. So we can say if test size is equal to the icon size dot width. So actually, this is actually no, it's the minimum. It's the min of the width and the height. So we'll do this. Result MIP is unknown. Result MIP is equal to this. Break. And then we'll go if result MIP is E icon MIP unknown, turn that, and then we want to get the get icon type. Where is it? Get game HUD. Get icon name from an icon kind. We need to the other way around. We need to get the icon kind from the icon name. So this is standard, optional, icon kind, get icon kind, const blue string view, icon name. It's literally basically the same as this. Icon name. So the stir is that. We can say if stir is equal to icon net or stir value. Maybe this will work. Icon name. Return the enum value, which is the pair enum value. To get the icon kind, the icon name. If auto kind is that, then we'll just return kind result mip. Icon name. 2 semicolons. Right. So the icon size set. So the result MIP is level 32, and the kind is cursor 0 for mouse cursor grey, which I think is correct. Props. So we can have the kind and the MIP. Or maybe we could just have, yeah, the kind and the MIP. So this is kind prop, MIP prop. So kind is kind prop, MIP is MIP prop. It's kind cursor 0, level 32. So this might work now. Yeah, there we go. So if we set the cursor to the cursor 1, whoops. It's a different type of cursor. Could be a different colour. So it's blue. Cursor 2. It's like the pink one. Cool, alright, that's awesome. So, the only thing we've got to do now is different MIP level. So, if we did 16, that should give us a smaller cursor, if this all works. If not, that'd be a good thing to fix. I mean, it's a 16 by 16 pixel cursor. Yeah, there we go. There's a smaller one. And in theory, we could make a 256 by 256 cursor. Okay, so this needs to come from somewhere. Probably like a setting. So if we do like, oops, if we do accessibility, we could have like cursor size. We've got 4 levels, so how do the settings work? I remember it being quite straightforward. Game settings, find the right file. So if we go to the game menus that deals with it, and we look at the accessibility menu, untick game config file. Okay, game config key. So we want like cursor size. So is it here? Root Dragon. Just found the memory leak. Nice one, nice one. Struct. Cursor size. Well. HUD cursor size. So we want. What is this? What is this? Like small, medium, large, extra large, probably. Enum E HUD cursor size. Unknown. Small, medium, large, X large. So we default it probably to medium. That's it. And then we put that in here. We need the key. You need the key. eGame config key. Cursor size. It's calculating the wrong timer wrong in my timer thread. The time wrong. Standard time 0 and comparing it to standard time 0. Alright, okay. Unless of the last time stored. Nice one. Glad you're making progress. Alright, cool. So this is HUD cursor size medium. Okay, so in game menus now. Let's see if I can put a little menu, a little drop down box. So HUD cursor size is medium. I've forgotten to put this, make this an enum class, I think. That's why it's doing that. Yeah. And then we want to go get game config file, get data, eGame config key, cursor size, HUD cursor size. Like that. And one of these. Accept. So this is HUD cursor size. HUD cursor size. Just cursor size. So we need the string value for this. HUD cursor size footer. Cursor size. Cursor size. I'll just mouse. I'll call it mouse pointer size. And that's this. So how does it know? I can't remember how this works. How does it know the text to say what the combo box name is? It's just got draw localized combo box. Anyway, we'll have a look. So if we go to the accessibility menu, mouse pointer size. So that's this text. How does it set the footer text? Oh, we do draw footer. Accessibility HUD font size footer. Alright, okay. This is how this works. We draw a footer first. I think. And then we want access. So that's the footer. And then we want the non-footer version. Mouse pointer size. Go with that. So this is that. This is the cursor size footer. Size of the mouse pointer inside the game window. Mouse pointer size. So I think what we want actually is this needs to go here. So now we can read this from the game config file. This. Then we can set it to the right MIP value. Where are we? Accessibility. Okay. So this medium here is in brackets, which means it doesn't have an actual translation. So we need to actually sort that out. So that is because these need to be lowercase. We also need a checkbox, which is like use hardware, use the hardware cursor, use the cursor from the operating system. However we want to write that. All right, mouse pointer size. There we go. We've got an unknown, and X large doesn't work. Maybe we don't need an unknown, you know. Because that would be terrible. So it's X large, like this. Right, so we can get this in the game HUD launch now, where we call like set cursor. Not there though. Let's get icon in it. This comes from the game config file now. So we just need to know, we just need to basically have, you know, a table. So icon MIP is level 32. Switch on HUD cursor size. How do I make all the things appear? No idea. That'll work. Just gonna crash? Oh, look at that. So we've got MIP equals MIP level, went all the way down to 8. 8, 16, 32. We don't have a 64. What do we go down to? Do we just do 3 levels? We'll just keep that one at 32 as well. And then that is MIP. So what we also want to do is we want to find it, try and get it. So auto result is that. If there's not a result, we need to basically try other ones. So if we can't get it, say the requested one, well, if there's no HUD icon, what will happen? It will just go to the hardware cursor, I think. Okay. So now we're in the medium cursor. If I go accessibility, cursor size large. That didn't work. Oh, because we need to actually set the cursor. So this we didn't finish. So in launch, how does this work again? Okay, game HUD. What are we in now? Game HUD state. Dot set cursor. Cursor kind cursor 2. What does that return? A bool. Return that. Now let's do that. And then the game menu, accessibility menu, we just do get game HUD, set cursor, for whatever cursor we're in, actually. So that's not quite complete. So we need like a refresh cursor. We haven't actually put a place to store what type of cursor we're using yet, so that'll come. Alright, so if we go accessibility, medium, there we go. Small, that's very small. Medium, large, extra large we don't have one for. So if we say it's a small, quit the game, it should come back in as small. Yeah. It's very small. Oh. Large, there we go. Must have changed the wrong one there. Oh, that'll change the hood text. Alright, cool. We could, in theory, let the player pick what cursor we're going to use. So the next thing to do is we need to kind of store what cursor we're currently on. And then this needs to actually be like GGameHUD, get GameHUD, refresh cursor. That's what this needs to be. We should just reset the cursor. So let's do bool refresh cursor. And then we want the GameHUD itself we need to store the type of cursor. E cursor, E icon kind, cursor kind. We'll set that to be cursor 0 by default. So set cursor does that, and then it goes icon kind, cursor kind, cursor kind, it's the icon. I've got two icons. So what's this? This is the cursor. Well, this is the HUD icon. Whatever. This is icon. Cursor kind is icon. Refresh cursor. Just basically just as a set cursor with cursor kind. Like that. So this is just refresh cursor. So even if we set this, so if we do something like, we'll go if draw button, if canvas draw button, sausage. So we just set it to a different cursor. So get game HUD, set cursor, E icon kind cursor 1. So if we press the sausage button, it goes to cursor 1. And then when we call refresh cursor, I just don't want it to turn back to cursor 2 or whatever it was on. Okay, so that changes the colour. Awesome. So in game HUD now, launch. This doesn't actually need to set the cursor, it just needs to call refresh cursor. Because by default, the cursor kind is cursor 0. So we'll make it cursor 2 because I quite like that pink one. And then we'll put this in a load icons. And we'll just pass in the pack we want to actually load the icons from. So what we need now is just load icons to private. This is all private actually. Okay, so void load icons, pack name, load icon pack, summit, I don't know, load icons. Launch. So this is just load icons. Packs HUD. Pack name. So we'll do this. This may as well return a boolean. Don't know what we'll do with it. If there's no HUD pack, that's a pretty catastrophic error, that. Then we go through this craziness here. So we need to do icons empty. First. This is going to get called multiple times. If we launch the game from the editor and then shut down and then launch the game from the editor. Over and over again. So this is icons.empty as well. So we just call load icons and that's it. We can load it from that pack. So we could have different packs with icons in as well. Alright, that's the icons. 16 icons. And then we call refresh cursor. Which calls set cursor to cursor kind, which is just the default one. And there we go. So what I need to do now probably first have a break. What I need to do now is the hardware cursor. So if we say unknown, so we want like the ability to hide it as well. So what I might do is have hardware there. Hardware cursor, or cursor hardware. Check that doesn't break anything. So if you specify cursor hardware, it means go back to the hardware cursor. So very small. We'll do different sizes. We'll do better sizes. For this very small one. So the one of the things is the hit pixel. Seems kind of wrong. That's just me dividing it by 2. I'm not sure if that's the correct thing we want to do. Okay, cursor hardware then. So we still have that sausage button. Menus. Game menus. Do we still have it? No. Cursor hardware. Cursor hardware. So what happens if we press this? So this isn't in any of the icons. So it just returns false. So what we kind of need is we need to actually, when we're loading the cursors, we need to request from the operating system the hardware cursor. Maybe. Or we just set the cursor. So if we can't find it, we could just test if it's the hardware cursor and set it. Well, there's no cursor object. So what I want to do is, like, if you pass this like an empty cursor, I want it to hide the cursor. So I want to actually get the hardware cursor out of icons, load icons. So this is in launch, really. So is this before or after the game window? Go back to main. And then when we create a window, I want to see which one comes first. So we're creating the windows first, which is good. Then we launch the game. So we can do platform get hardware cursor. Alright, while these ads are on, I'm just going to make a cup of tea. Back in 2. Okay. In a world, we program cursors. Okay. What am I doing then? So we want to get the hardware cursor, basically. So, so it'll be on the window. So we go something like get app, get game window, get hardware cursor, and that would return the platform cursor handle. Like that. And then we'd have to add that. So we'd have to say like icons. Add. Good icon. Cursor. It's the hardware cursor. And the kind is E. Icon kind. Hardware cursor. Cursor hardware. Obviously we don't have get hardware cursor. So we need to put that in. Then we call refresh cursor. Yeah, so we need to do that probably after, because so get hardware cursor. Can we just do get cursor? Because the first time we call this in launch, we haven't actually refreshed to our cursor yet. It would be the hardware cursor. It's probably a bit more prone to bugginess. If we get the hardware cursor, then it's like, this is the hardware cursor. The hardware cursor is just is the name I'm giving for the default Windows cursor. Okay. Get cursor. So that's a static. I'm just going to call standard optional platform cursor handle get hardware cursor. And this has to actually call in. So this has to be like return get app platform get hardware cursor, passing in the handle, the window handle. Or do we just want to pass in the handle context? It doesn't really matter, does it? So, if we go to the app now, well, it's the window context there. So maybe we should do the window context. The handle context, that's void pointer. What's the handle? What is the window context? Void pointer. So it's the handle context. Whoops. So we want basically this platform get hardware cursor, passing in the window context. And then platform hooks like that. And then in main, we want to do static optional platform cursor handle win get hardware cursor for the window context. And then App platform. Hardware cursor is the win. Get hardware cursor. Okay, so put a breakpoint there. And then in window, hardware cursor. Platform, get hardware cursor. So in theory, in the game HUD now, we should have a call straight through to the hardware cursor. In Windows. And then we just figure out what we're going to do. Ooh. This, need to buy some more memory. Just like blasting memory. And then I'm going to have to head off. So what's happening here? HUD icon. Cursor. What is this? What is icons? The list of HUD icons. Add HUD icon. Cursor. Kind. Why won't you allow that? Ah. So I think if we do this, then we refresh it. Or maybe not, I mean, I'm not sure. All right. So now we need to just basically get the hardware cursor for this window. So we do we have windows? We do. And we have a handle to window. We have a mode and a type. So what I might do is in this Windows, I might have window in Windows. Window. I might have a H cursor, hardware cursor. So we're going to go if auto window in Windows find context, return platform cursor handle is the window hardware cursor. Else just return that. So now this needs to get set. So in create window, assuming that's where we add the window in. Add window, window. And then we wanted to go window, hardware cursor is the window class. Cursor, H cursor. Which is just the one that we load. Okay, so now in game menus, we press that button, we do set cursor, cursor hardware. And it should be an icon. Let's see though. It's not. Do we not add it? Did we not add it? Did we not add it in? Maybe we didn't add it in. Launch. We do add it in. Alright, then we have to head off in 5. So we don't have a name. Maybe that's what it is. It's just cursor hardware. So we might have to special case this. If icon is equal to cursor hardware, we'll do it at the end because it's most likely never going to get. Result, find first where it's cursor hardware. Okay, let's see if it turns it back. Accessibility, sausage. Didn't find it. What? Icon kind is cursor hardware. Oh, wrong result. Wrong result. I want to stomp the result basically. Okay. Last attempt before I have to go. There we go. So we set it. Set that to be the cursor. And it's back to the normal one. Okay, let's just try that with no breakpoints. Obviously it needs to be a checkbox rather than a button. And I've got to go. Display, no accessibility, sausage, and it puts it back to the hardware cursor. Brill. Okay, that's me done for the day. Did a lot of work today, basically coded non-stop. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll hopefully be back tomorrow. Work on the cursor system a little bit more. See you later.